Don't panic and carry a towel. That's from The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, a science fiction novel written by Douglas Adams. And why is that interesting? So Douglas Adams did not only do a lot of fantastic literature about the future and about humans and dolphins and stuff like that. I can highly recommend that. But also did a lot of research on how humans react on new things and on new things related to technology specifically. And to boil it down, he basically got to the point where he said it's only one thing that actually kind of defines how humans react to new technologies and innovations. And that is basically number one. Anything that is in the world when you're born is natural, ordinary, and it's just a natural part of the way the world works. So whoever has kids, or you did grow up as well, right? You got used to things because they're around you, and you play with them and you get used to it, and it's just like how your world works. And if somebody takes that away, you're frustrated. I can give you an example. So kids today, no, forget about that. When I grew up, we had analog television, and that meant we had 3 channels. And if you wanted to watch the 8 o'clock news, it was the 8 o'clock news in channel 1. And if you wanted to watch the Saturday night show was on at 8:15 on Saturdays. That was about it. And then later on, we had a video recording device, VHS or something, where you could basically manually do all these kind of things there. Some of you might remember. But that was the technology we grew up with and we were used to. So be on time, switch on the television, and then you got your Saturday night show. And in school on Mondays, everybody would talk about that because you only have 3 channels. Some people even didn't have a TV, poor guys. But at the end of the day, it was what everybody watched, and then you would discuss that. Now kids grow up with an always-on kind of culture. You're always online, you always have devices with you. And you can basically consume media or play games and talk to your friends and everything at any given point in time. As soon as the internet is off, can happen still, go through a tunnel for example, in a bus or something, there's panic mode because they're just not used to that. Yeah? People like me are like, all right, not online, grew up like that, it's actually fine. So that's one thing. Everything that is in the world when you're born is natural and ordinary, and it's just the way the world works. And then now comes category 2. Anything that's invented between when you're 15 and 35 is new and exciting, maybe revolutionary, and you can probably get a career in it. It basically happened to me. I think in 96 or 7, I did an internship at IBM. Before that, I was in the automotive industry. And at IBM at that time, International Business Machines, they had this BCG matrix, which is basically market growth and market share for certain products. And I knew that from the automotive industry and from my studies already. But then looking at my boss at the time at IBM, depicting some IBM computer products in that kind of matrix, we were talking about a market growth of like 100% or more every single year and a market share of sometimes 80%. I was like, wow, this is a totally different industry. This is actually quite interesting. And the whole computer thing was quite attractive because it was changing so fast. Not everybody was into it at that time. It felt to be quite complicated and new and crazy and everything. So basically I decided that my career could be related to computers and information technology at that time. So that was exactly that age, between 15 and 35. Yeah? You might think of yourself, you get new opportunities with apps, for example, TikTok, big thing. And you're like, all right, let's check it out. Maybe it's cool, maybe it does something for me that other apps can't do, and play around with it and have fun. And now comes category 3, and that's the last one. Anything invented after you're 35 is against the natural order of things. So I'm in that category, and many of my friends are, and I now overhear conversations that go like, hey, you look at these young people, they go to a bar, everybody has their phone in front of them, they're texting. And I'm like, yeah, what did you do? You just sat in a bar with your friends and just got hammered. That's just the same thing. So you did kind of talk to each other sometimes, but at least these guys are having a conversation, just not with the people at the table, but they're having a conversation as it seems. So I always try to be in category 2, but as I said, many individuals I see are having difficulties because it's against the natural order of things. They grew up with a certain flexibility, they grew up with new things, and they loved them. But then all of a sudden, of course, you become older and you still believe that the past was better, but it actually wasn't, at most of the times at least. And if this theory, which I would agree to, at least for most people I know, is actually true, what does that mean for innovation? What does that mean for change? It basically means every organization I know about works like a pyramid. So there's one person on top, and then there's a group of people, and then more people and more people and more people. It's classic pyramid hierarchy. There's not many organizations who work different than that. And if you look at the people on top of the pyramid, basically the individuals who take the big decisions, these people are mostly in category 3. Why? Because it simply takes a lot of time to get up there. You need to make a career, you need to prove yourself, you need to maybe sometimes switch companies, switch departments, go overseas, all kind of stuff. And then one day, you're in the driver's seat, as they say, but then you are in category 3, and basically your career was based on new things that you discovered between 15 and 35. Now you're over that, and now you are also in a leadership position. Now, why would you look into new things and change? Because what got you here is basically stuff from the past, where you were really good at. So that's why innovation oftentimes feels so hard. Many individuals and organizations are in category 2, between 15 and 35, and they would love change. They would actually drive change and everything, but then they feel blocked by other people, decision makers oftentimes, because they're like, you know what, let's take it slow. Let's not be too aggressive. It could be that it's actually not true. It could be that this technology will never be a thing. I always believe the TikTok example is quite a good one. Same as Instagram or Facebook, for example. When we overhear conversations like, these young people are wasting their life on TikTok. Just looking at their phone and be like, oh, what is this? Oh, what is that? What am my eyes seeing? Why is my brain melting? This is actually super crazy. Yeah? But the reality is, of course, you yourself 15, 20 years ago wasted a lot of time doing other crazy things. So be open to technology, be open to trends, be open to certain things, even if you believe it's not for me, but you could still, let's say, try to understand why is it something for these guys. Yeah? So in my head, I always try to stay 34, and I can only recommend to try to be that. Always try to stay in category 2, try to figure out why is a certain thing a thing? Why is it happening? What could be the potential of it? Maybe I could do something with it. Maybe it could be cool and useful and whatnot. But never ever become, let's say, category 3, where you're like, you know what? It's all BS. That just doesn't make sense. Young people are just stupid, and this new technology, it will never work. So that's the thing about always try to stay 34. And thank you very much.